Thanks for choosing to watch the video. 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 And this video is a bit of a special one. If you do enjoy it, then please like and subscribe and all that stuff. If you saw my last video, you'll recognise that I'm in the pub that I've built in my shed at the bottom of the garden. And I'm in the pub because we're celebrating. Because since the last video, we've hit our first 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has subscribed. And in this video, we're going to look at our journey so far, looking at the highs and lows and some of the epic fish that we've caught in the first few months. So we've done a bit of an edit where we're flying across all of the different videos quite quickly. And to start, we're going back a few months to just before Christmas, December 2019, when we uploaded our first video to YouTube. £4 4 ounce. Yes. So the first video dropped in December, and I was keen to establish very early on in the series my love for lure fishing for big perch. So really it was quite a general video about me and my perch fishing. And it wasn't until the next video, which I'll blend in here, where we got a little bit more specific about what was actually happening at that time. I showed off a few hippos that I'd had earlier in the season, but was keen to show by the end of December I was faced with the same challenges that other people were in terms of the flooding. So the flooding kind of wrote off the river and the fishing became slow, but this actually gave me the opportunity to get a little bit more technical and start to look at some of the rigs that I use. So we started with the Chub rig and how I actually go about tying it up, and I also shared some of the lures that I like to use. So it felt like we were underway, loads of really nice comments and really good feedback. And it felt like we were off to a really good start. I don't know whose idea it was to start a YouTube channel in the middle of December in winter. And a common theme for this winter just gone was rain and floods. And when you're trying to fish a river, that's a bit of a nightmare. So frequently throughout the winter, we were forced off of the rivers onto the lakes, and that's where you find us next. Coming up for Christmas, it's cold, and I'm going to show you how to carry on getting bites through the winter using magnets. We took more time to go through bait and tactics, and fortunately every so often we were interrupted, and kind of play it by ear. If you get a fish, here you go, fish on. The first fish was nice but quite pale, which is unusual for the lake. The next one that followed shortly after was cracking. But check out the last fish in its full winter jacket. I tell you what, that is like a block of ice. So get out there, get on the maggots, and good luck. So by the middle of January, the rivers were looking a little bit more fishable again, which saw me back out on the riverbank chasing perch. I was really pleased with the opening scene of the next video. Hopefully you'll see why. Sometimes it really is just good to be out. It's beautiful out here today. Look, have a look. That is the River Lee in all its glory. I like it because, as we all know, there's more to it than just catching fish, right? And when I look back across the videos, we've enjoyed some amazing sunrises together, some beautiful scenery. It's just so bright and fresh at this time of year. For me, the crisp, bright mornings in winter are really hard to beat. and it was so cool to be able to share some of this with you. But back to the fishing, back to the perch, and this time we were looking at jig heads. So we looked at a selection of jig heads, mainly concentrating on getting the weight of the jig head right. When we did get out on the bank, you watched me catch a series of small pike. I kept these in the video because I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Sometimes we've got to work for our perch. It's a perch, feels like a good one. And in there! Yes, oh yes. Look at that. Happy days. Absolutely nailed that. Soaking wet here, but absolutely don't care. Look at that beast. That is awesome. Gone up and down the river. Lots of different spots. Lots of little pike, and eventually got what I'm after. So after a fair amount of effort, I'd finally found the perch, and of course the next thing that I did a day or two later was come straight back to that spot to try and catch more perch, which I did, which is fantastic. But that's not what I actually published next on YouTube. Just so that I mixed it up a little bit, what I decided to publish was me back on the lakes, dead bait fishing for pike. A nice comfy chair, a flask of tea. After all that lure fishing, this is actually quite nice for a bit, I think. And so, as always, I was loving being out on the bank, and it wasn't long before we got our first bit of action. So there we go. It's a nice fat one. Taken on a ledyard smelt. In you come. Another nice chunky one. Lovely. Look at that. Super job. That's awesome. That is a decent pike. How's that? Yeah, happy with that. Corking. As always, we went through tactics and rigs. And we looked at a selection of dead baits in a quiet spell before the action then kicked off again. Yep. Oh, I think he's dropped it. Yeah, he's dropped it. Oh well. Can't win them all. Never mind, let's get it back out. He's got it again. Look. He has. I wonder if that's the same fish. That is mental. Absolutely incredible. How weird. I think this one had 2 bites of the cherry. I actually got a pick up, hooked it, it came off, had to reel it in, put it back out there, straight away, picked up again almost before I put it down in the rests. And it was this fella. How incredible. So what a fantastic dead baiting session that was, but if you thought that was good, what came next was amazing. I'm out here, it's a glorious morning. I'm fishing for pike, but this video is about perch again, and we're talking about the Ned rig. I love fishing with the Ned rig, and out of all the videos that I've done to this point, this was the one that I was most excited about. So because of the order in which I publish my videos, you could be forgiven for thinking this was a couple of weeks after catching this fish, caught right at the end of the jig head video. But in actual fact, having found the fish, I returned within a couple of days to fish that area with Ned rigs. As always, I wanted to share as much of my knowledge as possible about the Ned rig, the tactics and how I go about fishing it, before getting out on the bank and applying a little bit of finesse in the area where I'd found the fish. As always, it was a short session, but we fished hard and right into dark, and we were rewarded with an absolutely awesome fish. If you haven't tried the Ned rig, try the Ned rig, especially in this cold weather. £3.4, what a beast. Try the Ned rig. Chuffed to bits with that. What happened next was absolutely mind-blowing. But what I'm going to share with you now is something that really is a bit special. If you've not watched the Ned rig video, go and watch the Ned rig video. Make sure that you watch it to the very end. All the time in the background, you know, while I was pike fishing and that carp session and the perch, all the time in the background, I'd been fishing fairly regular sessions on another venue that I'd caught some very big perch from in the past. As you'll see from the video, I was fishing really hard. It was a real struggle, lots of blanks, constantly doubting myself, but I wanted to leave that in so you can see the struggle. The struggle is real. I wanted to send out the message, you know, if you're out there, you're fishing, you're struggling, keep going, because amazing things can happen. And again, it's not happened. It's been so tough here, it really has. Don't even want to tell you how many blanks I've had in a row now. It's embarrassing. I know the area holds perch. I think they're here. There we go, we've got something. We've got something. Ah, it's dropped it. I can't believe I lost one. I feel a bit sick. I knew exactly what I'd lost, and I was absolutely wounded. Thank God I went back later that day. So here we go, it's dusk and I'm back. I'm a stubborn bugger, I really am. Lost one in this swim this morning. And yeah, I'm not having it. Not having it. Right, I've got a fish. Oh, it's a massive perch. Please don't come off. Please don't come off. Oh, oh, it's big. Oh, it's big. Let's have a look. Whoa, that is big. Come on, the Ned rig coming good again. Absolutely awesome. Now, can we rewind? How lightly hooked is that fish? I wonder if this is why I'd lost one in the morning. I can barely bring myself to look at it. Look at that for a beast. Beast! 4.6, £4.6, new PB. Absolutely awesome. New PB. Not even joking. Look at it. On the Ned rig, on the squirm. Only really just got the squirms. I started using them, and what a first fish to have. Oh my gosh. £4.6. A new PB. I mean, look at it. Oh my, unreal. Simply amazing, absolutely amazing. So by now it was mid-February, and yes, you guessed it, the rivers were in flood. So we were back on the lakes again, fishing for pike, but this time with floats. Literally just gone out. There goes the float, look. And we hit it. There we go. This could be a good day. Whoa! There's the first one of the day. Oh, this feels like a better fish. Again, it went in less than a minute. This is crazy. So, gonna slip him back and crack on. As always, we went through the tackle and tactics and some of the dead bait we've chosen to use on the session. We tried the drift method, which ended up being a massive fail, but dead baits on the bottom under a float kicked off the action again. Where you just sort of explore the whole swim in front of you. Yeah, it's a cast to the far bank, leave it there, give it 45 minutes, bring it in a bit. Right, something on the other rod. Just seen that float dip. Yeah, look, there it goes. Oof, he is lightly hooked. Just getting the camera ready, I noticed the other float was going. Yep. Yep. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so don't know what I'm going to do now. I've got one in the net and I've got one on the rod. Oh my God. So there you have it. We now have two in the net at once. Crazy. Crazy couple of minutes. And there you go. Can you believe it? So by now it was early March, there'd been more rain, more flooding, but we were running out of river season. So we just had to get out there. You know, it felt like we had nothing to lose. Last roll of the dice, even though the rivers were in a mess, we had to get out there and give it a go. I'd remembered that in the last couple of years, I'd managed to pick up chub at the end of the season, but whilst I was perch fishing. And what I thought I might try, given that there's a load of coloured water, is try a rattling crankbait for a bit of extra noise, something nice and bright, and see if I can combat the coloured water and maybe even pick up a big chub. I'll always remember this video for the one with an awesome chub in it, but also the one with the dramatic intro. Bit over the top, innit? So we got straight out on the bank to experiment with our crankbaits. Whoa, and something's grabbed that crankbait. Oh, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Yes. Awesome. So I had used crankbaits before, but the rattling hornet was new to me, and straight away I just loved fishing with this lure. We spoke about why I'd chosen to fish with the lure and exactly how I was fishing with it, before getting back out on the bank and not getting the chub I was after, but another little jack pike. I gave up and came back a couple of days later. Even more rain last night, even more coloured. But let's give it a go. A different day, a different stretch. Hopefully you can see how coloured it is and how fast it's moving through. You know, if if we get a bite in these conditions, using these crankbaits, that would be amazing. No, it's a chub. Oh, fantastic. Oh, it's a big one as well. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, it's a big chub. Oh, yes. Happy, happy days. Big chub. Just nailed that crankbait. I've kind of been hoping for one of these. What an amazing fish. Fantastic. Obviously, it was totally made up with that chub. But then this happened. I'm stuck in the house because we're on complete lockdown. So by now it was late March and we're in a position where we're locked in at home and we couldn't even go fishing. So obviously I was going to start to struggle for fishing content, right? I'd picked up a sponsorship from Quorum and I'm really proud to be associated with such an amazing brand. They're a brand that kind of believe in fishing for everything, and that is absolutely what I do. A lot of new gear had started to arrive and I was really excited to be able to show some of it off. But you know, I was quite keen for my videos still to contain fishing content. Fortunately, I did have some footage of a river carping campaign that I did back in 2019. At the start of the video, I tried to explain that I was turning my back on the big fish in the syndicate to have a decent crack at the river. It's something I'd been meaning to do for a while, and when the river season started, I couldn't wait to have a crack for those river carp. So in the video I explained that I got off to a slow start, struggling to find the fish, and so I took to my bike. One of the main things about river carping is location and just finding the fish. Once you've found them, they're catchable. And once we'd found them, sure enough, we started to catch a few. Finally got one. Load of effort on the bike, find them, feed them, catch them. And I wasn't disappointed. A stunning little mirror with skin like sandpaper. Exactly what I was hoping for from the river. Don't make it funny. Look at this creature. Oh my word. From the river. Ugh. An absolutely incredible looking creature. So by now we really were rocking and rolling, catching fish on every trip and absolutely loving it. Rigs were kept simple and strong, and small handfuls of pellet and corn were doing the business. On the very next trip, within half an hour, and a dumpy mirror. So I was catching consistently. I did start to wonder if a bigger fish might appear. I wasn't fishing for monsters. If I wanted big fish, I'd still be on the syndicate. I was kind of hoping a River 20 might come along, and on the very next trip, it did. Oh yeah, it's a good one. It is from the river, and it's a good one as well. Been wanting something a bit bigger, and that is a good one. Load of effort, quite a few mid-doubles, finally attached to something a bit better, just under 22 pound, and the River Lee, happy days. A really nice way to end that little campaign. But we were now in late March. I think the lockdown had started to kick in, and what we saw next was a bit of a cry for help, I think. And I started to build myself a pub in my shed, out of desperation more than anything. The fishing in this video was captured before the lockdown. We did a bit of old school float fishing. Now, I was sent these amazing floats by Sam King, and I decided that I was going to take these to a local lake and fish old school style, traditional, with a worm underneath them, to see if I could pick up an early season tench. Did I catch tench? Did I? Yeah, look, it's not very big. Yeah, I'm going to put him back. And then it wasn't much longer before another bigger fish came along. Lovely personalised handmade floats by Sam King. And I'm out here tench fishing with them. And yeah, we have a bit of a gate crusher. That was quite a fight on light gear. After a short while of feeding the swim with maggots, it wasn't long before my worm was picked up and the float slid away. Bloody hell, look at that reel go. Jesus Christ. That is some run. Oh God. Here we go. Caught on the float, on a worm. Absolutely fantastic. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Really cold still. The water's freezing. So that pretty much brings us up to date. I've been doing a range of other things in the background, particularly in the lockdown. I've been doing things like product reviews, talking about rigs, talking about fishing and tactics and bait application and all sorts of stuff. There were some other videos that I did along the way actually, including this one. Oh. First one on the new rods. Lovely. Everyone loves a screaming buzzer and a purring reel, don't they? So that was good to get out there and test the new rods and reels that I've got from Coram. I even did a couple of videos for bad angling. There was this one about fishing hard up to features for carp. Right, thanks for joining me out on the bank. Today I'm going to take you through fishing up to features. In the video I was demonstrating how to use the line clip. We also caught this rip-roaring take on camera. Brace yourself. Sean, those bad angling boilies have worked. Christ. I'll tell you what, it's the end of January and it is cold. It is freezing. And I think you're mine. You are mine. Superb. How's that? What we got? Yeah, nice chunky mirror. Just nudged up right to the far bank and this little beauty ripped off. So generally I've been keeping myself busy, creating loads of content and really enjoying it. Something that I would really like to get your thoughts on. What I've been trying to do with the channel ever since we started it is to actually stick to a schedule and try and publish something, upload something every 2 weeks. And you know, I've been really keen to try and stick to that. Obviously, as I said before in the video, we can't go fishing, we can't actually capture any fishing content, so that leaves us with some decisions to make, I guess. Do you think we should just park the channel for now? Just wait until the lockdown has been lifted and then we can go out there when the time is right and I can bring you some more fishing content. Alternatively, we can stick to our schedule. I can upload, publish something every 2 weeks, but of course in the short term, it would have to be tips, tactics, things like rigs, product reviews, and quite happy to do that. But obviously it was never my intention to be uploading any videos that don't include fishing. So like I say, I really do appreciate your feedback. Put something down in the comments for me and I'll make sure that I read through them all. So that's the end of this video. All I've got to say again is thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed to the channel. If you did enjoy it, then please like, subscribe and share it, and let's see if we can grow the channel even more. I've loved sharing my fishing with you. It's been absolutely awesome. It's now the end of April and absolutely gagging to get back out there now. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I'm looking forward to sharing all the highs and lows with you along the way. So in the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you soon.